And if we move on to the Christchurch Regeneration Acceleration Facility, Roading and Transport, I think we've come to some agreement as to some wording for the final recommendation, which I think will satisfy Councillor Johansson and meet the objectives of the not wanting to put the business case at risk. So we're happy with C noting $5 to $8 million towards the implementation of public transport improvements on key public transport routes in the city. So that broadens it, but it focuses it on the key public transport routes.
I think just in response to the second part of that, it was stated before that that will come back to council for decision making around
all of them do.
What it's spent on.
All of them do.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Would someone like to move them? Pauline, you'd like to move those? Mike Davidson? Yep, seconded. Is there any discussion? I'll let you close off, Pauline. So Yanni, Tim, Pauline. Jimmy, sorry, I'll get you to go before Pauline.
Look, I think it's really important that we fix our broken infrastructure post-earthquake. I totally concur with those who have raised the concerns about people having to wait 30 years. It's just not acceptable. And we just totally need to get on and fix these broken roads in these areas. So I'm very supportive of this. I do want to sound a word of caution that 40 million will not go very far at all. If you think about North Avon Road, for example, one roading renewal costs $6 million. There's a number of roads in here, and if you add up how many you can get out of 40 million, if they cost $6 million each, it's not going to be hundreds, it's going to be a handful. But we need to get on and start fixing some of this broken infrastructure. It is having a massive negative emotional impact on people, as well as a physical impact on their cars through a number of these areas, and we really need to just get on and get this done. I think, this is only a small drop in the bucket of what's needed, but it's better than nothing, and it's really important we do it. I just wanted to touch on the public transport, because I think it is important to invest in our public transport system, but we do need to be really mindful of how we're spending that money. In the past, for example, when we've invested in bus priority lanes, we've actually then put in pedestrian crossings for schools that have delayed the benefit of the bus journey time. So we need to be really strategic about public transport. If we're going to invest the money, then we need to do it properly. We can't just do it piecemeal. And I think what we've heard is that there's work underway to really look at it in a much more holistic approach, and I would welcome that. But it seems to me that the good thing is that this council will be deciding where that money goes, not the Greater Christchurch Partnership Committee, and that's really, really important. So I'm happy to support this today. We need to get on and get this done. It's really, really critical.
Tim, Jimmy, Pauline.
Thank you. Look, it's not just roads, is it? It's footpaths as well, and we have older communities that have broken footpaths, and we have communities of older people who rely on these footpaths to get around. So it is time to really get on and do these. It does make sense to improve while we fix, but I'm really concerned that there is that we get a blurred vision with our community, because I'm sure that every single councillor around this table, when they were out campaigning, one of the key things that people were talking about were the issues with broken roads and footpaths. So I am concerned about the blurring between the $40 million accelerated fund that it was explained to the public, whether it's changed or not. I'm confused, that it was for fixing the roads and the infrastructure. So we've got to be clear when we go forward, when we blend that with the $120 million that we do for our own roads and our own plans, that is not lost. Thank you.
Jimmy.
Thank you. Yeah. This business case, investment case, is very, very important for the whole city, and also is for the whole city rather than just the part of the city. Particularly, we review this one, if following the Canterbury earthquake. Actually, all our city has been more or less affected. But even in the, I'm fully understand in the east area, quite a few the roading, the footpaths, and the transport have a big the kind of damage issue. But in the southwest area also, the fewer people move to the southwest area, particularly Horseway area, the new subdivision, faster growth the people, and Hornby area, fast growth of the business and residential area. But how to dealing with issue, to face these issues. So I'm still the particular concern. You based on the staff particular emphasize that's evidence-based. But up to now, I have not yet to see all those figures. But I heard from the Southwest the people community, even and me, we attend the Horsewell Resident Association meeting and also Hornby, where Hornby. So the people community, they request us have a holistic way, overall can review those about the transport issue, routing issue. This one we heard from their voice, but I do hope, today we go ahead. We try to find some other alternative funding can meet these needs. Yeah, this is my view. But today I support this one because that's very crucial for our whole city.
Yeah. Mike Davidson.
Thank you. I'll be supporting this. I think we just got to not get confused about this fund, and it's not for BAU. There's three very clear objectives from this fund, and it was to improve livability and support the ongoing regeneration of Christchurch, to reduce transport fatalities and serious injuries, and to improve journey time and reliability of public transport. And this is what this $40 million is set out to do. Not only that, this obviously doesn't include the subsidy, which will increase that money, but we've also got the $120 million we spend per year on transport, and that's what needs to get onto our roads to improve, obviously, the condition of the roads. We definitely need to look at how much we're spending on our roads and increase that, but right at the moment this is actually about this investment case and just keep getting that momentum going and getting it signed off.
Yep. Anne Galloway?
Yeah, thank you. So my understanding is the business case is very much very credit to staff for the development of this so that we actually get the money in the bank and then we can have the discussions about how that's going to be spent. So thank you for the work that you've done to actually work with to get that money from Treasury. And I think I loved what Evan said about the 2020 sort of vision thing of next year, and that's about clarity about where we're going. That's what we need here, and that's what we're going to have. But also the leap year thing. Let's just get going. I think that's what the message we need to give to our communities, that we've got this sorted, we've got the resource, we're going to get going. So thanks for the work that you've done, and look forward to further discussions about how we're going to spend it.
Okay, before I get Pauline. Pauline? Oh, Phil?
I'd just like to say to staff that it must have taken a wee bit more than 2 or 3 weeks to do all this. Very roughly speaking, how many months, years or whatever? When someone said, let's start the business case, how long ago was that?
Well, this is the debate, not the question.
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to thank them for the amount of effort that they've...
Just thank them generically for the amount of work and be assured there was plenty. Yeah, we can't invite staff into the debate partway through. Yeah, no, that's right. Pauline.
Yeah, thank you. Look, this fund is to accelerate our recovery, and thanks, Phil, because I was going to do exactly that, to recognise the incredible amount of work that the staff have put into this over, I'd say, a couple of years, could be more, and rising to the challenge of how to actually get this across the line, and to thank and recognise Mike Davidson as well, because him and I worked on the investment logic mapping, and it was very challenging to get this through, and I think perhaps the government's reinstating the well-beings gave us a bit of a hand there, because this will actually alleviate incredible amounts of stress that people are feeling when their local roads are and footpaths are in such a poor condition. It's a little bit like the broken windows thing as well. So we get that. It's not street renewals either, so let's be clear. It's not a North Avon road, and that was expensive because we had to take all the coal tar out. So this is not street renewals, it's safety improvements and amenity and smoothing. And these 5 areas have been identified, not just plucked out of a hat, but huge work to identify these. So we're not excluding any other roads because they're not in certain areas. This is a multi-criteria analysis, and staff have worked really hard to identify these as the areas that are going to give the greatest benefit to community wellbeing and alleviating stress and accelerating our recovery. So I think a massive amount of work and working collaboratively with the Crown, so you're not putting up business cases that are going to be rejected. I think you've got to recognise that this is not an overnight sensation. There's been huge amounts of work in the background to put something forward that we're fairly sure is going to fly. So, you know, thank you so much for the incredible work and the way that you've worked through this to get to the best result we have today. So another significant day here.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Did someone say no? You want that recorded? Aaron Kewen. It's always helpful if people participate in the debate, so if they're going to vote. Right,